Welcome to this new video where we will focus on Norse mythology. Today we will talk and know the history of the god of war, wisdom and poetry. We are talking about Odin. We will explore his myths, from his role as leader of the gods of Asgard, to his famous quest for knowledge. So get comfortable and let's begin. First of all, we will talk about how the god was born. Well, in Ginnungagap life came into being when the ice of Niflheim and the fire of Muspel met. From this encounter between cold and heat were born first the ogre Ymir and then Audumbla. Ymir lived on Audumla's milk, and from her sweat a pair of giants was born, and from her feet a son. That was the origin of the frost giants, also called Jots. Audumbla lived by licking the frost on the brackish rocks, from which gradually arose the first man, Bure, and from him descended the gods called Ozus. The son of Bure, named Bor, married the daughter of a Jot, Bestla, and together they had three god-sons, Odin, Vile and Ve. Odin and his brothers killed Ymir, and from his body they created the earth, from his blood the sea, from his skull the sky, from his bones the mountains, from his hair the forests, from his brain the clouds, and from his eyebrows a wall around the uninhabitable outside. In this new world they created the world of men, called Midgard, then, and so that men did not feel alone, they created in the center of Midgard the world of the Handles, Asgard, in whose center grew a great ash tree called Yggdrasil. But who was Odin? For Odin was the main Norse god of the Vikings, and is known as the father of all, as it is assigned the governance of the world, men and earth. Following the mythology is believed that Odin created the first pair of humans called Ask and Embla, as well as the creator of the runes. Being the god of all gods, he was characterized for being the wisest, but to become so he had to perform rites and sacrifices, in order to have universal wisdom. He is usually represented as a middle-aged man, with silver hair, long and large beard. His weapon is called Gungnir, was a trident that made him the dwarves. Other attributes are the ring Draupnir, which drips to change shape to new rings every 9 nights. Other attributes to Odin are the Valkyries, who were probably represented by small female figures sometimes holding a drinking horn, indicating their worship of Odin. Among his accompanying animals were 2 ravens named Hugin and Munin, meaning thought and memory, and a swift horse with 8 legs that could run across lands and seas. His name was Sleipnir. Finally, he had his 2 wolves named Jerry and Freki, who devoured everything that Odin did not eat, since he only eats wine. Odin was married 3 times and each one symbolizes a part of the earth. Odin's descendants is complicated to understand, since in different stories different children are shown, but in theory they are the following. With Frigg that symbolizes the cultivated land, with her he had Balder, Hodder and Hermod. With Jord that symbolizes the uninhabited land he had Thor and Meli. Finally with Ring that symbolizes the winter and frozen land, he had Vali. We already knew a little of the history of Odin, but we still do not talk about his myths. But first I ask you, if you like this content, do not forget to subscribe and leave your like or comment, because that helps me too much. Now if we continue. He was considered the wisest god of all, but still had to go through and overcome some very exhausting initiation rites. One of them is that he had to sacrifice his left eye to drink from the spring of Mimir and thus gain access to universal wisdom. Mimir is the land of giants. Mimir, who watched over the well, to allow him to drink from it, asked him to sacrifice his left eye. This being a symbol of his will to obtain knowledge. While drinking he saw all the suffering and problems that men and gods should endure, but also glimpsed why it was necessary for this to happen. Therefore, Odin is the god of past knowledge thanks to the water he drank from the well of Mimir, present thanks to his 2 ravens and his throne, and future thanks to the gift of seeing the destiny of men, which the goddess Freya taught him. Another of the myths is that of the god Odin, and the runes tells us that Odin was in search of supreme wisdom, but during his search he ended up blind, which he could not stand, and decided to take his life by hanging from the sacred ash tree. This tree is powerful because with its branches covers the whole world. It only had 3 roots that reached deep into the earth. These roots led 3 directions. The first the universe of the gods, the second the world of the giants, the second the World of the giants, the third the world of the giants, the third the world of the gods, the fourth the world of the giants, the fourth the world of the giants, the fourth the world of the giants, the second the world of the giants, and the third the world of the dead. Returning to Odin, and his suicide attempt was frustrated, since he did not succeed, since he was hanging in the tree for 9 days, without food and water. During this period of time, he received from the tree the runes, which are the language of the secrets of the world, also managed to regain his sight with the power of clairvoyance. Ragnarok is the cataclysmic battle between the forces of chaos and the forces of order in Norse mythology, which ends the world and kills most of the gods and their adversaries, giving birth to a new world. The Norse gods were not immortal, only exceptionally long-lived, and they were kept young and healthy by the goddess Idun and her magic apples. Periodically, they had to eat of the fruit to avoid old age and preserve youthful vigor. After this war of Ragnarok, many gods died, after Loki killed Balder, son of Odin, and this in revenge decides to kill the children of Loki. The death of the god Odin occurred during a confrontation with the forces of the Army of Darkness. This battle begins precisely with the fight of Odin with the infernal wolf Fenris, who is a son of Loki. It is a long fight, but in the end the fearsome animal ends up taking Odin's life by being completely swallowed by the beast. Odin's death is attributed to him because he could not receive the help of his son Thor, who was also fighting with his greatest enemy, which was Jormungand, who is the serpent of chaos. I hope you liked this video about the history of Odin. Comment that another character you would like to know his story. Do not forget to subscribe, and see you in another video. See you later.